I give the floor to the representative of Pakistan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the Pakistan delegation thanks you for convening this urgent meeting of the Security Council. We thank Under Secretary General Lacroix, SRSG Bintu Keita, and ASG Masuya for their briefings describing the very disturbing situation in eastern DRC. We welcome the participation of the Foreign Minister of the DRC at this meeting, as well as the representatives of Rwanda, Angola, and other countries. I would like to make the following points. First, Pakistan supports the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the DRC in accordance with the principles of the UN Charter. We deplore any foreign intervention in its internal affairs. We call for the withdrawal of Rwandan forces from the territory of the DRC. Second, we strongly condemn the attacks in North and now South Kivu by the M23. The M23 has captured Sake and encircled Goma, causing sizable civilian casualties, as well as attacking United Nations and African peacekeepers, several of whom have been killed or injured. These attacks on civilians and on UN peacekeepers deployed under the mandate of the Security Council constitute war crimes, and those responsible for perpetrating, supporting, or sponsoring these attacks must be held accountable. We demand that the M23 halt its attacks immediately, withdraw from the areas it has occupied, and observe the ceasefire agreement of 31st July 2024, as well as to end its GPS jamming and spoofing. We express our condolences to South Africa, Uruguay, and to the families of the peacekeepers who have lost their lives in the noble cause of preserving peace and security. Third, we urge that adequate and urgent response be made to the humanitarian crisis that is being faced in eastern DRC. Assistance must reach all those affected by the M23 offensive, and access must be ensured by all parties, including the M23, to the civilian and others in need of such assistance. Fourth, we admire the bravery of our peacekeepers. At the same time, we urge MONUSCO and the United Nations to take immediate measures to ensure the safety and security of not only civilians, but also the United Nations and other peacekeeping units which are in eastern DRC. We are particularly concerned for the Pakistani artillery battery located in Sake and in adjacent areas. It is highly exposed and without supporting forces to defend itself against the M23 forces. This unit should be quickly redeployed for the safety of its personnel and of its heavy and expensive equipment, which must not fall into the hands of the rebel force. Redeployment will also enable the unit to provide support to the DRC forces more effectively. Such redeployment needs to be done immediately and while it is still possible. Fifth, the UN, MONUSCO, and DRC forces must develop an effective military strategy to counter the M23, which outnumbers the DRC and the peacekeepers and has more advanced capabilities. We must ensure respect for MONUSCO and its forces, not only in the region, but within the DRC itself. Pakistan feels that the withdrawal from South Kivu, which saw the withdrawal of Pakistani blue helmets from there, was hasty and influenced by political considerations. I must recall that our troops had succeeded in maintaining peace and order in South Kivu. We need to strengthen MONUSCO and equip it with the capabilities to respond to the challenges which it is facing in eastern DRC. Without adequate reinforcements, equipment, and political support, especially from within DRC, the UN and other peacekeepers cannot be expected to implement their challenging mandate assigned to them by the Council. 6, we call on the DRC and Rwanda to resume the dialogue under the Luanda process, ably led by His Excellency President Lourenço of Angola. This process has made encouraging progress. We regret that the 15 December summit did not take place. It should be urgently reconvened. The understandings reached under the Luanda process, the neutralization of the FDLR, and the withdrawal of Rwandan forces from DRC should be maintained and implemented even as the challenge posed by the M23 is confronted and ended. We also hope that reconciliation within DRC will be achieved through the Nairobi process under the able leadership of former President Kenyatta of Kenya. We extend our full support to the Special Envoy for the Great Lakes region in promoting dialogue to resolve the conflict in eastern DRC. Finally, Mr. President, we urge that the Security Council address the root cause of the conflict in eastern DRC, that is, the illegal exploitation of its natural resources. This requires greater oversight and traceability mechanisms, working in coordination with the DRC government and regional and international partners, and encouraged and supported by the Security Council. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the